I wonder how good this crossbow unique I found is. Let's see. Wow, that left click is doing a lot of damage. He's already been frozen, and now he's about to get stunned, and he's dead. Hello again, this is Preheat. Welcome back to a Path of Exile video. We're doing something a little different today. So if you're like me, you've been playing a lot of Path of Exile. This is footage from my sorceress. I've been having a lot of fun on this character. But I've also been thinking about leveling more characters because there's just so many builds and different things I want to try. So this video is going to be for you if you have already completed the campaign once, all right? If you haven't done that yet, I want you to close the video right now. This is going to ruin your first playthrough. You can only play Path of Exile 2 for the first time once, and I don't want to squander that opportunity by showing you something really, really overpowered to level up really quickly through the campaign. But if you've already leveled once and you're just looking to maybe level an alt army, maybe get a whole bunch of other characters, this is going to be really, really good for getting started. This video is sponsored by Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus. Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus is a turn-based strategy game set in the eternal conflict of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Combat is fast-paced, and each champion and faction has a unique skill set and tools you can utilize in battle. You can expand your collection across multiple factions, unlock new possibilities for battle, and sweep the galaxy clear of all resistance. With millions of downloads and a 4.8 average rating in the App Store, over 20,000 ratings, it looks to be the go-to game for top-quality tactical gaming. Now is a great time to get in with a special holiday event called the Red Gobbo starting on December 25th. Use code HAPPYDEC to receive 2,000 gold and 50 Blackstones for free. This is only available, though, until January 1st. Now back to the video. Now, this build is going to work for every character, every archetype. It doesn't matter what you are, you can play this, and it will be really, really strong all the way through Act 1 and even probably through Act 2 unless you want to swap off of it and actually play your class, right? But it is the Mist Whisper Makeshift Crossbow. This thing is so busted for leveling new characters. Every single new character I make immediately equips this crossbow and just has a blast in Act 1. Reasons why this thing is overpowered. Number one, it's got cold damage on it. It also does a little physical damage, but mainly it does cold. It chains, so the attacks are all going to chain from one enemy to the other enemies. Also, it has increased freeze buildup, and it gives you mana back, although we won't really need the mana because we're basically just using the auto attack. So the crossbow attack that you have built into the crossbow whenever you just equip it, if you don't have any skill gems equipped, is super duper strong. Now, if you want to take this a step further, you can obviously get other leveling uniques as well, like the Bramblejack, the Bracers. You can get some boots as well, but that's not needed really. All you need is this crossbow right here. All right, so I loaded up my level 11 Ranger who just beat all of Act 1 in this example, and I'll be including the gameplay so you can see how it plays. But yeah, I'm dual wielding this crossbow. I actually found these gloves while I was leveling up, so I just equipped them. Why not? Same with the belt. Kind of surprising. I immediately just volled this belt as soon as I got it. Just to see if I could get a higher roll on that damage taken, recoup this mana for my main. But anyways, yeah, basically this thing just absolutely crushed everything. I just ran through, just W keyed through basically every little mob and got to the bosses and just absolutely put them down. When it comes to the skill gems, if you're dual wielding the bows, it's nice because you can have Glaciation and maybe something else like Primal Armament or Pierce or Chain on it. That way you can clear the mobs and freeze them easier. And then for the boss damage, I definitely recommend Scattershot and Martial Tempo. These two are very, very strong. For other equipment, you basically just want to talk to your NPCs. So Renly here usually has some iron rings that you can pick up, and those just have physical damage on them. Just flat fizz is always good. Also, he's usually got some boots on him. So if you see any of the boots that have movement speed, make sure you grab movement speed. Movement speed is the best stat that you can get. And then just fill in the other slots with whatever you find. It really doesn't matter. All right, so here we have some footage of my Ranger, and I'm just using the bow and left-clicking on stuff, trying to skip anything that doesn't seem like it's absolutely necessary. I am picking up some of the permanent stat increases. You will notice there are some tells as you're leveling that tell you where to go next if you're just focusing on objectives. So like right here, you see these coffins. If you see the coffin, you know you're next to the next zone, and you can just run straight into that next zone. You don't actually have to kill the Druid here. You can go straight to the Cemetery of the Eternals. The Druid just gives you like a support gem, I believe. But anyways, once you're here in the cemetery, you're just looking for the mausoleums. So just run around until you find those. If you see a checkpoint, you know you're either close to a little event or you're close to one of the mausoleums. So just be kind of hunting for those checkpoints. And as soon as you see one, just immediately get in there. In these maps, the strategy is basically there's a big room with the boss. Usually it's kind of towards the center, but usually it's not a direct path from where you start. So you kind of have to use your intuition and just kind of like pay attention a little bit to see where that stuff might be. Be really careful with these shield mobs. They do reflect projectiles. That's what I just took damage from there. Usually it's best to just skip those mobs, just run past them, unless they're absolutely blocking your way. You can also just proc a freeze on them, and usually that takes care of them. But yeah, if it loops back to where you were, usually that's not the right direction. just make sure that you're trying to find a path that winds out from the start that doesn't connect and also leads to a big room. There's only really 2 checkpoints you can get here. One is for like a little riches event, and the other is for the boss. So yeah, 50-50 if you see a checkpoint that you're basically there. And then once you fight the boss, just, you know, basically use your left click on it and dodge roll to avoid attacks. You're going to get a nice little freeze window where you can get a ton of damage in. You can also get a stun as well. This thing builds up a ton of stun. Just dodge the attacks, left click the boss, don't let it hit you, and just keep shooting them until they die. All right, so we're in the other mausoleum. So just basically run down this path, and you're just looking to get far away from the start, but also look for a big room in the middle. So usually I play with like tab open so I can see my map there. If I hit a dead end, I just turn around, and I'm just trying to find a winding path that does not connect. If I hit a dead end, I just turn around. Pretty straightforward stuff, yeah? Just use your intuition, use your best guesses. As you do this more, it becomes more obvious. If you see a path that kind of leads back around to almost where you were, but it doesn't connect, usually that's a good sign. And here we found it basically right away. Here's the boss. So same story with this boss, right? Just make sure you left click, dodge the attacks. Pretty simple. You can actually stay in melee with her unless she's doing the circles. Just roll out at the last second. And she's actually pretty easy to kill here. Whenever she does the circle, just dodge roll out of it and then just start laying into her. You just have a free window of damage to just do infinite damage to that. And just dodge roll to avoid her attacks. And we got an exalt there. That's pretty lucky. Head to the old man and he's going to attack you. And yeah, just lay into him with your left clicks. Don't get overly greedy. That's what I did the first time I fought this guy. But yeah, he does have like a delayed attack that's a little bit annoying to avoid. It's that little ghost. But just lay into him. You do a ton of damage with this bow. All you have to do is just left click him. He will die very easily. I find it's a little easier to stay a bit further back on this guy. And after that, head to the hunting grounds. And the first thing I try to do here is find the crowbell. If you find this arena right here, you know he's close. So just skim the edge of this zone and just look for this. And if you see this with the path leading in, there's going to be a checkpoint nearby. Just go in there. And we can kill the crowbell really, really easy with this bow. All we have to do is get up in melee on him. He's really easy to dodge his attacks. So just press spacebar whenever he's about to hit you. Avoid his attacks. He's going to run away. You get a ton of free damage on him while he runs away. Unless he runs really far, which was kind of unlucky here. But he's going to pick up the bell and turn on you. Just obviously lay into him. Hopefully get a freeze or a stun early. You should be able to push him into the next one. Same deal as before. Just press your dodge roll button. Don't dodge into the attacks though, like I just did there. And then he's going to pick up the bell. You get more free damage. And he's going to run over to that little area that I pointed out earlier. And we're able to very quickly finish him off here with the bow. And I was using fragmentation round two here whenever I got a freeze at the very end. Not necessary, but it does a little bit of extra damage. Use those skill points right away if you have anything useful in your skills. You can also go from here into the, I think it's the Freythorn, something like that, to get an additional support. But I don't think I bothered with that here. I was just trying to rush to the next zone. Okay, so whenever you're in the village and you see this area, I don't know if it's always like this, but for me, I swear it always is. You see like this gateway with like a person hanging in fire. Usually if you just head left of here, it's going to be the boss. There we go. And just go straight into the boss room, killing mobs that chased you. For this boss, usually I hang a little bit back because it's really easy to get one shot by him. But whenever he does the guillotine, it falls from the sky. So just make sure that you aren't inside that circle. It's pretty obvious where it is. But yeah, just lay into him with the crossbow. Same story. There's the guillotine. I roll out of that. Dodge roll the attacks. Even if it doesn't look like it's going to hit, still dodge roll. Because a lot of these melee guys, they'll do like a big AoE whenever they do their attack. And with this bow, I mean, if you just shoot like the boss or the mobs, like everything's getting hit anyways. Finish him off really easy, just like so. And then you can run up the platform and move on to the next zone. And the Manor can be pretty deadly. There's a lot of mobs that are chasing you pretty much the whole time, but just try to find like these areas where you can see down into the boss arena. That's how you know you're progressing. Just run past those. You can get Candlemass on the way, which is going to give you a little extra health. He's kind of helpful. But whenever you see this boss arena door, this is the time where you need to TP out and you need to go get a better flask, use whatever the best gear is that you can equip, because this is the first time you're actually going to be challenged. Whenever you're fighting the boss is really easy in phase 1. He does basically frontals, so just whenever he's frozen, you can get behind him and attack him. You can move around for this scythe attack. I'm going to unpause it and pause it here again. So whenever he dashes forward like this, if you're behind him, like I am, just run forward and you should be able to get through before the slash hits, just like so. And yeah, there's also another attack that you should watch out for. So he's going to do this thing where he does a freeze. Oh, I might just push him here too quick. Okay, never mind. We can't see it. Doing too much damage. But yeah, so whenever he does this attack, just look for a spot that's free and then just start laying into him with your crossbow. Whenever the lines come out, don't get greedy. Look for the line, and then after the lines have been found, then do one left click. Lines, left click. Lines, left click. Dodge rolling during that will still freeze you. It will still make you cold, so that makes it so that it's easier to get killed by it because you're going to be moving slower. So during this like in-between phase, the intermission, he's going to have these voice lines, and you just basically want to listen for the voice line to know when to dodge roll. And then after that, he comes back out, same deal, find the safe spot, and then immediately start laying into him with the left click. And then for the lines, just don't get greedy, wait for the lines, and then left click once you're safe. Dodge roll out of the circle afterwards because he's going to teleport onto you, and then finish him off. And there it is. Super easy Act 1, and this is at level 11, just using the overpowered crossbow. I think I also had a couple other uniques I got to drop on the way up. But yeah, really, really fun way to level on all your characters, and it's great because every character can do it. Doesn't require any sort of stats, doesn't require any sort of archetype. Just equip the crossbow, use the crossbow shot, and win. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.